You know, we just wanted to make a movie about three person who has connection to the eternity. It's Volushka, our main character, who has relation to the cosmos, and Mr. Esther, who is haunting the clean voices, and the whale, who is coming from the far ocean, and three of them has a deep connection to the eternity, and they are living in a small town where the life is going like in a small town, and somehow that was the basic point, how it started. And you know, when the story of the film, it came from the novel of László Krasznahorkai. You can read it. It's called Melancholy of Resistance. It's published in English, French, German, in all languages almost, Spanish. And I'm sure you will like it. It's a great novel. And he gave me the manuscript. And I said to him, it's impossible to do a movie. It was after the Sharkan Tango, because I can't believe if somebody can play Volushka. It's no human being who could be similar. Because for me, the main issue is when I'm doing the casting, and now please listen, to found a personality. I don't care about how they are acting. I just need a real personality, somebody who is similar, or strong, or his or her presence. It gives life for the film. And I was sure Volushka doesn't exist in the reality, it was only the fantasy of László. And then I went to Berlin, and I was doing a workshop, like here now, and one of my young came with her casting, and she was doing the casting session, and there it was a young guy, a street musician, Lars Rudolph. He was just sitting at the corner, and I was watching him, and I started to talk with him, and by the end I called László at the same evening. He was in Hungary, and I called him and I told him, hey, we can do a film, because I met with Volushka. And you know, his personality inspired me to do a movie. Not the novel, not any ideology or nothing. Just you see something which is touching you, moves you, and you can start to do. And this is a big difference, because usually the films are not making like this. And the second thing, you know, the novel has 3 chapters. The first chapter is about the mother of Volushka, and the second chapter, the middle, it was called Werkmeister Harmonies, and the third is a kind of epilogue. And by the end, we decided we are touching only just the middle of the novel, the story of Volushka. and this history about the whale and the small town and the whole stuff. And by the end, we did this film, but I really don't know how we were doing, because, you know, first of all, you have to understand, for me, the main issue is, can I get a little water? Because my mouth is totally... Sorry. Okay. You know, I never use script. I'm just using cards. One card, one scene. I will ask Matt to put them on the board, okay? And I will tell. You know, it's very simple. You can see here is the film. No reason to write the script, because first you have to find a good situation. That's what I'm telling to you since a week. You have to find a real human situation when the people are just being, do not acting. They are just existing. And it's, if you have this situation, if you have a really good location, and the location has a face, the location has a meaning, the location gives you a strong, it's one of the main characters. Thank you. And then afterwards, you have to have personality, who has a little bit similar personality than the character what you wanted to show. And of course you can, what? It's empty.
Don't know.
What?
Huh?
It's no. It's. Hey. What? 9, 10.
Yeah, that's a.
Okay. And you know, and then here is the list of the situation. And you go to the location. I'm usually spend a lot of time for the location scouting, because I like to feel the spirit of the film. And because during the location scouting, you can meet with the people, you can see the life. And your goal by the end is to find the life. Because you see the world, you see the life, and you are transforming and explaining, sharing for the people, with the people. And this is what you are doing when you do film. And this is why I'm against the script, the storyboard, and every other stupid things which is just coming from the film industry, because it's not coming from the life. And this is really the main issue and the basic issue, and nothing to say more. Okay. Do you see how simple it is? And it's easy because the crew can follow. where we are, what we shoot, what's going on. We just put in the catering, and everybody can see it and know it. What is this? Okay, let's see. Go through the story. The first is the eclipse. And now I have to turn back to the casting. We had Lars Rudolph, and we needed the guys from the pub, for the pub, and there it was two visual artists, and one cinematographer, and one filmmaker, and they were dancing with Lars. And yeah, and I have to say something about the music also. The music is also one of the main character, and somehow I'm asking Mihai, our composer, to go to the studio and do the music before the shooting, because if the music is one of the main characters, I have to know it, my main character, before the shooting. And we are using the music sometimes because it helps for the dolly guy, helps for the camera movement, it's much more fluent, and the people can get the same rhythm. And there it was a really hard shooting day, because somehow Lars did not feel it, how he can move it, the people. And it was really, really hard, and our rust, really, it was just the last reel, the very last reel for this day, and we did not, I was hesitating maybe to shoot again tomorrow, or let's try to do the last reel right now. And by the end, the last reel, we shot 12 times. And then it was really, really very hard shooting day, and it was it was 14 hours long day. It was hard to everybody. But afterwards, we get the whole film. Afterwards, it's when we found it, the way, how he started to feel good in the situation. Afterwards, it was really perfect. And don't forget, he wasn't actor this time. And then later he became actor, but this time he was just a street musician, which it was very good because he had a very good sense for the rhythm. And he was capable to keep the rhythm, and everything, it was really very good. And then afterwards, the street scene, it was shot the same day than the big march, when the people are marching and going to the hospital. And it was also very hard, because it was -10 Celsius, and everybody was frozen. And to do the big march, and afterwards to take it this, and nobody wants to do it. I remember everybody was fed up, and we had to do it because we had no money for another shooting day. And then something about Mr. Esther. He is a German actor, a theater actor, and a very sensible person. Unfortunately, he died a few years ago, and he was very tender, very fragile, and he was really all the time nervous, and he could not be together with the people. And that's it's very important because, again, his personality and the character has to be similar. And believe me, I never told to him how he has to act. He was just himself. It's no reason, because he makes much richer the whole character and everything, because I can say just stupid things to him if I tell him to do on this way or that way. You can tell him physical action. You can tell him sit. You can tell him go. And all instruction what I'm telling, faster, slower, louder, lower, and nothing more, nothing more. Because in this case you are forcing something and you are just pushing somebody for your stupid idea, and he will give you more than what you can believe. This is the reason why I push you. Just listen for the people, just let them free, and then you will be more lucky. And of course you need luck, because it's absolutely necessary. Okay, let's see where we are. I don't know what can I say to you, because now it's so simple, and I don't know, maybe better if we are talking about this, and then I'm sure you have some questions. Yeah.
I do have a question. Like purely, did you get your actors first, or did you create the situation first?
It's coming together. Sometimes the situation, it's coming from them. Sometimes, because I believe something how will be, and then when I see them, I change immediately. You know how it's going practically. I'm going to the locations counting mostly alone. And sitting, watching, thinking, how can I shoot this situation? I have an imagination, what will happen here. And then afterwards, I call the crew and I tell them, okay, I'm very autocratical guy, and I tell them here it will be the opening picture, then you go to this position, and then for that position, and then for that position. I'm very autocratical with the camera. But the other hand, I give freedom for the actors, because I wanted to steal their spontaneity. I wanted to steal their personality, and I just wanted to let them show something, because they became naked, even if they are very well dressed, because they show themselves. If you have a good situation, you can see on their eyes who are they. And the other hand, the camera, it's really precise. And this is somehow a very strange situation, because one hand very well composed, and the other hand just very light. And this is, sometimes difficult, because the camera has to learn something, and we are rehearsing for the camera. But I never rehearsal with the actors. I just tell them, here is the camera, here is it. And when the camera is almost ready, then I'm calling to the actors, because, if you start to rehearsing with the actors, they start to bored, and they never will be fresh because at the first, second, and the third time they are the best, and then afterwards, that's why it's difficult, because yeah, and we are going to the shooting, and when I see the actors being in front of the camera, afterwards, and something is wrong, I have to change immediately the situation, and I have to find the right way how they can be themselves. Sorry. I am working coldly. Oh, John. Okay. Where we are?
Yeah, I think.
Change the situation.
Yeah. The situation, you have to be flexible. You cannot be so stubborn like you were before yesterday. You don't be stubborn. You need your empathy. You need your sensibility. You have to find the way to the people. It's nothing more. I don't know what this means filmmaking, really, believe me. And I never think about myself as a filmmaker. I was just curious about the people. Who are they? Why they are doing like this? Why not that? Okay. It's but 100% true. You are all the time in the hand of the actors. You are all the time the hand of the dolly guy, for example. I could work with different cinematographers. In this film had 7 different cinematographers, but the same dolly guy.
And the focus pull?
The focus puller was also the same. For me, better to do a dialogue than monologue.
So for this film, you did the music before making the film?
Yeah,
And did you play the music on the set also?
sometimes, not always. For example, the opening scene, the eclipse, we played in the set, but the others not.
Just to expand on that, you know the part in the first scene when before the music comes and he talks about the total darkness, and then the music comes from the hand coming like this. Am I right? So he kind of talks about like it's absolute darkness for Luska, and then as he's doing that, he kind of shows how everything is closing in, and then the music comes and he expands. Did he decide to do that? Did he know that the music was going to be playing then, or was that you?
You know, I started to work with Mihai. It was 1983. I'm sure you did not born. And that was the first film. It was the Almanac of Fall, but we did it. And he was, yeah, that time I was so stupid. I went with him to the studio because I don't know why. I believe the director has to be in the studio when they are recording the music. Why? And I just felt so stupid. And then afterwards, we somehow agreed the best if he goes, and he's just coming with a CD or USB and that's enough. And we are hearing together, and then we decided, okay, this music we will use it to here, and that's one to here, and that's all. And it's good, sometimes helps. when you have music. When you are going to the location and sitting in a car, and it's good because, and hearing the music, it's good because it's inspiring you.
How many times was necessary to find the right way to build a deep contact with the violinist, with the musician? I mean, you are felt on Qui ed Ora, like on the set. I think you felt the relationship with the others, or was you met them different time before and talk about life and
It's depending. Yes, sometimes, we spend some time together. Sometimes we do not talk more than a year. The question is the point of view. Because somehow what they are thinking about the world and what I'm thinking, somehow we have the same point of view. And of course, Mihai is not a filmmaker. He's just a sensible person. Laszlo is not a filmmaker. He makes very nervous when he sees how it's happening, because he said to me once, it's not an art. This is just a piece of shit. And I said to him, yes, I agree with you. It's not an art. The film is not an art. It's just something what you have to do. Of course, later, I can believe the people will say, oh, this is a piece of art. But you are not an artist. You are just a fucking worker. And when the time will judging you, who are you? Yes.
I want to ask you about the dialogues. How much improvisation was in the film, and how much specifics?
For example, the long text of Mr. Esther about the Werkmeister, it's written.
It's very
but
specific.
the others are not. And of course, the eclipse scene, from the beginning it's also written. But the others are not. It's just...
You just explain the situation and let them...
Yeah. The dialogue is coming up from the situation.
But these two are written, right? These two scenes, the uncle...
Yeah, of course.
Was very specific
like
about
in the Turin Horse, we had to write the neighbor's monologue.
Right.
But the others are not written.
Right.
It's if you have a good situation in this case, it's coming. Not too much, not too less.
So you just tell them that is the situation and let them.
Yeah. And of course, sometimes you have to direct. Like when the 700 unemployment miners were marching on the street, that's for something.
Yeah.
In a -10. It was a really hard work.
There were 700?
700. Who can tell me how we did it? How do you organize a fucking march? 700 people.
Do you have signposts?
What?
Signposts? Signposts?
with a big camion, no?
Yeah, that's okay. We put it the camera to the
camion and
to the truck, and then it was a crane.
People hide
and
in,
but now
people
the
hide.
question is, if you are a director, how do you direct 700 miners in a -10 degrees?
You march in the film? that you be in front?
No, it's, don't talk about now the filming and the camera.
Yeah.
But how do you, what is your instruction for 700 people? Hey,
Music, maybe? Let them listen to the music you want. Listen to, give them a mood.
700.
Look always the cue before.
What?
Look always the cue before and don't cross. Something
Maybe
like
you
that.
should really make them angry. Huh?
You know, it's 700,
because-
they are just walking.
Just walking.
But they have to marching. How do you do this?
Either they think about a demonstration or a funeral.
Huh?
Either they think about a demonstration or a funeral.
700.
Demonstration.
Yeah, you can tell 200, but not 7.
Make them starving. I think it's a good idea. Like make them angry. So
How do you make them angry? -10. They are just freezing. They are not in the mood.
So do you have like a fire at the end? Something for them to go
Tell
to?
them this is the wrong place.
What?
Doesn't the cold make them pissed off enough to try to warm themselves and walk faster or walk in a way that they'll get warm?
But they are,
Maybe all of them feel the
you are
feelings. So
going closer, but it's not music.
Is it just like in an army where you're saying left, right, left? Yeah.
A beat, a drum,
What do we start?
a drum.
That's only one way. I was there with 700 people and I did not have any idea how they can marching. And then we put it, the camera to the truck and the guy with the drum. Like in the army.
yeah.
How a fucking army is marching. And it's very, very simple. But, it's to do. It's sometimes physical effort.
What made you want to make this film in particular? The idea of 3 men in eternity. What about it that attracted you personally that you want to make the film? Because I know that the filmmaking is hard. This film in particular.
What is your question? I don't understand.
What attracted you personally about this subject matter to make the film?
I told you, when I met with Lars Rudolph,
The actor.
he inspired me immediately. Yeah. But when we did it, let's say the Chatan Tango, that time it was the novel itself.
Why we never saw the prince?
The prince is just
His presence.
a shadow.
Yeah. But he was kind of like extra sense, like half extra sense, half philosopher, half.
It's not philosopher. The story is very simple. That time we believed it's a fairy tale.
Right.
Never will happen.
Yeah.
And now we just switch on the television and we can see
Mm.
it's happening. You know?
Yes.
So it's how the people became hungry, how the people has no life, and easy to find someone with a populist
Right.
slogan just to burning up the situation and destroying everything. But no reason to see.
No,
I did not want to show. Because if you see,
in the
in
book.
this case,
in the
in
book.
the book, no.
No, you don't see it.
No, that, in the book you don't see anything.
No, I
just
mean,
words.
yeah. Is there a meeting between the prince and
yeah,
Yarovka, for example?
No, it's in a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's other things what I wanted to tell you.
Mm.
Why I against the script in a very simple thing, because the script and the book is literature, and it has a different material, and what you have is picture, and the literature and the film is two different language, and no direct way between them. You have to go back to his origin and to find the film language for this.
For the hospital scene, people are very violent and hitting the people in the hospital. But I can hear that no one is making any noise, making any screaming or shouting. So why will you have this direction on that scene?
Because you have more tension. If there is no any human voice,
It's very
just
quiet.
noises.
Yeah.
Just noises. It's push up the tension. If they are it keeps more strength. It's also trick, like a drum. You have to.
About the hospital scene too, the scene where is the naked man at the end. You thinking
It is
about
one take.
yeah. At the end, yeah, I remember. It's you thinking about it before, or the images come while you were just filming?
Yeah, no. I told you I'm in the location.
Yeah.
I'm watching, and I believe, it's. And then I was there and thinking, okay, here they were marching here. We go on this room. We are coming back to there, and we are passing here. It's not. It's very well planned, and I told you the camera.
Yeah.
It has to be perfect, because it's you have to make it. You have to know how big is the camera, where you have to turning, where you can move there.
Yeah,
And
but
then the people are coming, and I just said them, okay, faster, 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 faster.
But the people don't know exactly where they're going to
No,
go.
they know.
They know.
Of course, I have
You
to
direct
show
the
them.
people.
Yes, sure. I show them the movement.
Right. But don't show them how to break stuff. Just leave them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can you tell us more about the scene with the helicopter on the train tracks? He's running and then the helicopter came. Can you tell us how you did that?
What? How we were doing? Yeah, my production manager was sitting in the helicopter. We had the radio, talkie-walkie, and I was telling to him, now you come front, and poor dolly guy was pushing us.
like in the touring horse, for the touring horse you use a helicopter in the same time, in the same way.
No.
Not for the. I mean, for the environment.
Here the helicopter was
For the environment,
actor,
I mean.
but in the touring horse we just use it as a wind machine.
Yeah.
Because we needed, and I was using in a Tango too, helicopter as a wind machine.
Yeah.
Because if the helicopter comes down, let's say in a 10 meters, your head is.
Yeah. The fog.
Yes, sure. Okay, something about the long take. You have to understand the long take is not coming. I was using all the time long takes since my first movie. There it was long monologue, and it's, you know why? Because you just listening for the people such a long time. Camera is rolling, and they cannot escape from the situation. You got a special tension, and the actors, you know, they are in, and you just focusing for them. You are very cruel, and you are hunting the real moment. And when you catch, put it in a box, and it's there forever. And you know, because I believe the real tension between the people, the real things between the people, it's happening in the time and in the space. And you cannot excluding the time, and you cannot excluding the space. And the logic of the, let's say, the films, which is action cut, action cut, action cut, it's so boring because you're never listening for the real persons. And that's why our movies are different than the other movies, because I'm just leaving the time, listening for the people. That's why I'm telling to you since a week, listen for the people, not for yourself.
Talking about the communication with actors, to get that raw feeling, do they know what they're going to shoot the following day, or do you just tell them on spot?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do not give them script because we don't have nothing to do, and
But they don't know the story. They just
no,
Oh.
no, they trust me. It's no reason, you know. For example, when I was asking Hanna Shigula, it was a nice meeting with her, and we agreed we will work together. And she came, she flew to Hungary, I picked up her at the airport, we went to the countryside, to the location. We just chose a dress for her, and then we went into the set, and we were discussing about the whole situation, and it was also written her text, and we changed it, which is because she wanted to change. She said it's not fit for her, and then I agreed, and then that was all. And we shot. It went really quickly. And it's no reason to tell them what they will do tomorrow. Really. And you know, and everybody is different. Each actor. Everybody. It's somebody likes when you are rude, somebody likes when you are very tender, somebody just needs caresses, and the others like it when you say fuck, do. You know, it's you have to feel it, what you say to someone. It's no recipe. No recipe. You know, the whole fucking filmmaking is a little bit same like the cooking. You have, let's say, a recipe, what you need. And then you go to the market, and of course the meat is never the same, what you needed, and the vegetables are not the same. It's a little bit different, and you cannot get the perfect things. And when you do, you have to be careful, and you have to listening, not for the recipe, for your material, what you have. If you're just following your recipe, let's say your script, in this case, by the end your food, it will be fucked up. You feel the herbs, you feel the time, how long you have to boil. It's really, and the filmmaking is just the same. Yeah.
So 2 questions. Like, have you ever felt like nervous because like not everything get prepared before the shoot? And the second question would be like the way how you make films sounds like really time consuming because you really need to like spend time with your characters, with the story, with the situation, with the camera, and like how many days did you shoot this film? Or like in general?
It was, I don't remember well, it was almost 58 or 60 days, something like that.
So do you have the pressure like from like your producer like about time?
You know what, I was lucky because all the time in my life, because I had intelligent producers, and if the producer wants to get a real Béla Tarr movie, it means the producer clever enough to let me free. Because in this case I will do my best for him. If he is coming and telling to me this or that, in this case I say fuck off guy, I say who cares? If you know better than me, do it. Do it. And nobody, never, any of my producers, never came to the set. Not for a single hour. They were very intelligent. They know they cannot do anything in the set, they are just bothering us. You have to feel it. No, the problem is, I cannot explain to you what it means the filmmaking. I can tell you only one thing. Please sensible, please be open, please, a lot of things, but I cannot, it's no words. That's why I hate the schools when I teach, and when I was doing my film factory in Sarajevo, our slogan it was no education, just liberation. Because if you are coming and I'm telling to you, I teach you, it means I know what is the right way. And no right way, because you are different than me, and you have to find your own language, which is fit for you, and which is when you can explain all your emotions, all your anger, or what you think. You know, it's no way. We are in the 21st century. You can make a film with your telephone. And of course, do. Try to find your own way. I cannot tell you this is the right way. I can tell you just how I was doing. But it's no way for you. And no way for her or for him. Because we are different. That's why I don't believe any kind of teaching. Especially not for the art field. Any kind of art. That's why I'm telling to you, don't listening for me. You can say you don't care, because this is just one case. Yes.
I have a question about how to work. How do you work with your composer, since there is no script, and also you ask them to compose the music before they saw the image. So how do you communicate with them, and how do you let them know what kind of music you need?
Of course, I'm telling to him something about why we are doing and what we are doing, but he knew, he knows, he understands. We know each other in 1983. No reason to say anything to him. I just tell him we need 3 songs. Please go and do.
So back to the first time you are working with each other, did you use the same technique, ask him to compose the music beforehand?
Uh-huh.
So back then you don't know each other, how you communicate with him?
Yeah. I remember for the first film, he just came, there it was a piano, he was putting 3 accordion, he was turning back at the stick. That's something what I'm thinking. Did not understand anything. I had a question. Can I trust this guy or not? And I decided I trust. He's a talented person, he's a sensible person. Let's take the risk. And of course, after the first film, it was absolutely fine. And I never ever said anything. I need this or this or this. No, the communication is not only all the time verbal. You know, we have meta communication. You can just sitting and watching the life. For example, I never talked with him about the art. We were all the time just talking about the life, how is going the life. It's enough. A lot of meta communication. Sometimes we are just sitting and silent.
Do you bring your composer to the location too?
Sometimes, yes. For example, when we were building the set for the touring horse, he came several times because he liked very much how the construction went. That's all.
Why do you never use color? Why do you never use color in your film?
I was doing color movies. Yeah. My second movie was, and the Almanac of Four was color. My Macbeth was color. I like the color films when I could build up a dramaturgy for the colors. But I would prefer now the grayscale. It's much more rich than this fake color. You know, since the middle of the 80s, the Kodak changed the technology, and it's not. It became a polyester film. You know, and the colors became different. And it's a plastic sheet. I hate. That's why I'm turning to black and white. It's also Kodak, but
and when I watch the film, when the frame, in the edge of the frame, I can still see, like, it's not like perfect straight. You know, you can see the edge of the film stock, which is, you know, which I really like. But is there a reason why you keep that, or is it because of the camera you use? Or?
I think it's a question of the projector. It's not.
I see.
It's depending. You know, each projections are different too.
How did you do the casting for the people on the square?
700 unemployment minors.
No actors?
No, we have some actors, but they are not actors. I don't like so much the professional actors. It's not true. For example, it's the same way how I'm working with the professionals and the non-professionals. It's the same. I do not do any difference. Just the difference is how I'm treating them as a human being.
Yeah.
But it's not. You know, when I was working with Tilda Swinton, it was same like how I was working with Erika Boog from the Touring Horse.
What did you say to the people on the square? Like, for example, the scene, the first time Joshka go and see the well, and there's a lot of people just standing there.
No, I was just telling to them, you are standing here, and you are waiting. And the other group was standing there, and we went together with him between the people.
They have questions like, why are we waiting?
No, I'm telling to them, you are waiting.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah. It's just simple.
Yeah.
And then you use that movement.
What?
You use that movement through the crowd to determine how the camera moves, or did you
What?
plan how the camera was moving?
Of course I'm planning. I told you, I'm horrible for the cinematographers, because I'm telling very precisely what we want to see. But for the actors, I'm just telling, you are just standing here waiting.
Yeah.
It's enough. And they were waiting.
How about the guy that catch Januszka and say, what are you doing here?
He is an actor. And he was, I'm working with him since 1982. And I met with him in the film school, and he became friend, and he was there in the Almanach of the Macbeth, or it's the Shatan Tango. He was everywhere, the man from London, and he is the main character in the Touring Horse too. And I like him very much. He has a strong, he's very strong physically. Don't you want to smoke?
A little one.
What?
Just a quick one.
What?
A quick one.
Yeah, quick. 2 puff. Let's go to smoke a little and then back. And we have half more hour. Okay.
I have a question. Me and Mati were just talking about it. Have you ever been into a situation when you disagree with what actor want to do? For some reason.
First of all, I don't know what they want to do. I will give them the frame, the situation, and then I will see what they are doing. And if I think it's fake, in this case, I'm asking them, okay, it's nice, it's very nice what you are doing, but for another movie, for another time.
Yes.
And do you know where are you? If someone is playing, I became mad. Really. I hate when an actor playing. I don't know, I feel immediately it's fake, wrong. He just wanted to sailing a piece of shit for me. It's hurting me.
Yes.
And I say, no, never. And once it happened, I had to change an actor because she wasn't capable to understand it's no reason to play. Yes.
You said that all you producer never went to your set because they trusted you as Mr. Béla Tarr.
Louder, please.
You said that all your producer never went to your set because they trusted your work and all. But as, at least for me, I'm not still established. How would I make a producer trust my work if I don't prepare a script or I don't do the technique that all filmmakers do for me?
Yeah, it's really. I don't know how I convince the people. I really don't know. But they have to feel it. Who are you? If they do not trust you, better not to work together. Because it's really.
Yeah, you should have that vibe at least.
Yeah. If I decide I was sometimes producer too. And I decided, okay, I trust this guy, I let him free. It's so stupid to push him something, even if I see it's bad what he does now. Yes.
Another question about the hospital scene. You choose to show the naked man because the helplessness, this deniability, I don't know, means the end of the revolution. So is that kind of situation that put the people in the end of the revolution?
Do you want me to be cynical?
No. No, I don't know.
You know what? They are turning back because behind of the guy there is a wall and no way further. Is it true? Yes. And of course, if you think this is, yeah, you know, when you have, when you see this total weakness, when it's, they can kill you. But why? Right. You know, they are not animals. They are human beings too. And they're just turning back because it's no reason to do anything. It doesn't solve anything, doesn't help for them. It's somehow they are just leaving. Plus, there is a wall, and they cannot go. You know, that's the physical things has to be clear. A little bit romantic stuff, this. Sometimes. That's why I'm telling this is a nice fairy tale. But it became slowly real. Yes, Owen.
Béla, could you say something about the relationship between the helicopter scene and the next scene in the hospital when our hero or the protagonist is sitting there almost comatose?
What is the relationship? It's clear. The police catched him.
Right.
And then they took him to the hospital because everybody who sees him, he can see he is not normal. He doesn't fit for the society. They just have to isolate him.
But did he went crazy or he was crazy the whole time?
He wasn't crazy.
Because in the hospital it seems like he's gone.
No, it was, he just got the shock.
The shock. Okay.
As soon as I saw that scene, I thought of Caligari.
Not.
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 But is it dealing with betrayal? Because he's also betrayed?
What about who betrayed who?
Well, he's told to escape, but he can't escape, right?
Yes, of course. No, she said to him, run,
Run.
go next to the track,
Right.
but they catch him.
Right.
You know, that's how they are just haunting the people.
Do you
Yes.
ever use paintings as inspiration for your imagery?
Yeah, you know, I learned the filmmaking mostly from the painters, and of course I learned the filmmaking from some musicians, and sometimes from some films, but less really. For me, the paintings are important, but not everybody, of course. For example, in the Turin Horse, there are some quotations. Definitely.
And yesterday's film had some quotations or not?
What?
Did yesterday's film have quotations also from painting?
Yeah, some. Yeah.
I would like to ask a question not connected with this film, but in general. What do you think about the future of the style in the cinema?
What
Yeah,
is mean
what do you-
styling?
Yeah, what do you think about this contemporary cinema, and how do you hope that the cinema gone in the next years?
It's up to you. It's up to you. If you are conformist, if you are accepting this fucking film industry, in this case, no future. If you are more revolutionary than me, in this case I can believe the future. But it's up to you. Be more radical than me. Okay? You know, it's very important. I never wanted to be a filmmaker. I just wanted to change the world. It's a different point of view. And I never believed I would go to Cannes on the red carpet. By the end happened, but you know, the question is, what is your goal? What you want to achieve? That's why I'm telling up to you. And of course you too.
Do you have a goal for now?
Uh-huh.
May I ask what it is?
No. Hey. Okay, I stopped the filmmaking and I'm happy about this. And I was doing my own, let's say, film school or institution, or I don't know how we call it. And then I was doing now an exhibition, a big one in Amsterdam, and now I have some other projects and idea, and we will see. You know, the creativity is with me. I like to create, you know? But I like in the filmmaking, it's something it wasn't before. Just existing because of us who was doing. Because when you do a film, you never do it alone, of course. You cannot make a film alone. You need actors, you need crew, you need friends, you need strong people.
Have you ever thought to make a theatrical show? A theater?
What?
A theater piece, a theatrical show on stage instead of filmmaking?
I never did it, but maybe once I will do. You know what is disturbing me with the theater? It's every evening is different. You know? Let's say the actress got a period and she's different than before yesterday. Or the guy became drunk yesterday and today he's just, ugh. You know, it's hurting me. I like the filmmaking in the box forever.
Thank you.
And you know, I'm sure, if I'm in a theater, if I do a theater, I have to redirect every evening the piece, because it's depending the mood how they are. Because if you are in a very bad mood, you cannot pretend you are happy. You know, in this case you have to redirect the whole piece. It's a never-ending shit. Something else? Rosalba, who is shooting this afternoon? Okay. The dog.
Yeah.
Have you seen his dog?
I saw it. Like,
it's an amazing dog.
Oh, yeah.
But he's leaving. The dog. Maybe we can steal his dog.
I do it now?
Better now.
Steal the dog.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay. And we are shooting at the market.
Yes. The first one.
When do you start?
Supposed to be 1 p.m.
What?
But I mean, like we can like delay it for a little bit.
Okay, we are almost at 1, and we can start at 3. When do you want to start the shooting?
Oh, I really want to shoot like from like 1 p.m. to 5 because the actors are only available like around these hours.
Okay.
Maybe you can like delay it for a half an hour or.
Yes, madam.
Would it be possible to take a photo with you and everyone here now before everyone leaves? Could we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Where do you want to do this picture?
Samina, would you do one for us? Would you please? Okay. Where you want to do it? I loved last night to see you in the middle of all the students. It was so wonderful. Could you do something like that again with them, and they can all come around you? It was so wonderful.
I'm sitting here like an old